Let's be real. In a world where every single product seems to have a dozen lookalikes, how does any brand actually stand out? It feels like an impossible question, right? Well, the answer isn't about having a better product. Today, we're going to break down how to build something that's truly one of a kind and totally uncopyable, a narrative monopoly. So let's start with a little thought experiment. Just think for a second about the brands you really love. The ones you keep coming back to without even thinking about it. Why them? What is it about them that makes them feel so different from all the other options out there? I'm going to bet it's not just because their product is, technically the best. The real reason we feel loyal to a brand is often something a lot deeper, something hiding just below the surface. It really comes down to the story, not just the stuff they sell. Because here's the hard truth. Right now, we are all swimming in a massive sea of sameness. In today's economy, almost any product can be copied, replicated, and sold for cheaper by a competitor almost instantly. I mean, think about it. That cool new gadget you just bought? A knockoff is probably going to be on the market by next week. Competing on features alone is just a race to the bottom. And all of this leads us to this one really simple but incredibly powerful idea. Products are commodities, but stories are monopolies. See, anyone can copy your features, that's the commodity part, but absolutely no one, and I mean no one, can copy your unique story. That's your own personal monopoly. So what is a narrative monopoly, really? Well, think of it like this. It's when your brand's story is so unique, so authentic, that for a certain group of people, you become the only choice that makes sense. You're not just selling a product anymore. You're inviting people into a narrative, a story they really want to be a part of. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually build one? Well, the answer requires a pretty huge shift in how we think about marketing. It's all about learning to document your journey instead of trying to create some perfect, polished image. So what's the difference? Well, on one side, you have create. That's the old school way, right? Polished marketing, slick commercials, and a perfectly manufactured story. But on the other side, you've got document. And this is all about showing the reality, the messy human grind of actually building something, including all the failures. And here's why that is so important. When you actually pull back the curtain and show people what's really going on behind the scenes, you build this incredible level of trust. It's a raw, authentic connection that a polished ad campaign could never ever hope to replicate. This leads to another huge mental shift we have to make. We need to stop obsessing about going viral and instead start focusing on going deep. It's really time we redefine what success actually looks like for a brand. Think about it as the difference between viral width and community depth. So many brands chase the width, getting 1 million passive views from people who will forget them tomorrow. But the real, lasting value? That's in the depth, building a community of 1,000 true advocates who will champion your brand because they genuinely believe in your story. So the real goal isn't just reach, it's resonance. It's not about how many eyeballs see your stuff, it's about how many hearts you actually connect with. Does your story resonate with people on a deeper level? Because in the long run, that is the only metric that truly matters. Just burn this number into your brain. 1,000. 1,000 people who are truly invested in your journey will do way more for your brand than 1 million people who just passively scroll by. It is always quality over quantity. Okay, so when you put all of these pieces together, what you get is a truly unfair advantage. This is how you build a brand that isn't just a flash in the pan. This is how you build something that's made to last and is completely immune to all the copycats out there. So what's the game plan? Well, it's pretty simple. First, shift your focus from talking about what you sell to talking about why you even exist. Second, start documenting the real journey, the good, the bad, all of it. And finally, use that honesty to build a real community of advocates, not just a passive audience. Because at the end of the day, your authentic, messy, human story is the one thing that can never, ever be turned into a cheap commodity. It's your ultimate defense. It is what makes you and your brand completely irreplaceable. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. As you go about your day, just ask yourself, what is the one story, the one journey that only you can tell the world? And, maybe even more importantly, what's the part of that story you've been afraid to show everyone? The part you think is too messy or not perfect enough? Because odds are, That's exactly where your real monopoly is just waiting to be found.